Can you share some of the latest update about the security aspects in the global telecom market?
I think the whole reality is the world is becoming more and more aware of the balance between national security and the protection of personal and private data. The world has also become more aware of the global intertwined nature of business and personal life and government life. And with that, the opportunities for technology and the risks of technology. So cybersecurity is absolutely moving up the agenda. But what I also see is that people are still talking about the problems of hacking, the problems of leakage. And there isn't enough talk about what we're going to do about moving the security to a more stable, more robust, safer environment.
I can see a lot of positive signs in their security ecosystem. How did you handle the entire issue?
I mean, our view on how we handle security globally is that every country has a different approach. Its policy objectives may be similar, but their order may be different. Their approach to risk may be different. So Huawei works with all of its customers and governments around the world to really understand what they want to achieve from a set of objectives. Security is just one of those elements. The law is different, their business requirements are different. So what we try and do is we shape what we do to the international standard, the local standard, the local government and customer requirements. If there was one simple answer, everybody would adopt it. The reality is you have to be alive to the local situation and make sure you match on to that local situation.
What are your plans for next year?
Our plans for next year from a cybersecurity is we want to continue to drive the agenda, to drive the industry, to raise the bar for everybody. There is no point on focusing on one country or one or two companies from a security perspective, because very few people only use one or two companies. They use a range of companies from around the world. So you have to raise the bar for everybody. So our mission, if you like, our objectives in the next 12 months is to how do we raise the bar for all of the IT vendors? How do we get them to work to a higher bar from a security? How do we make governments to be more demanding of their vendors and customers more demanding? Because if nobody asks for security in their product, why would a vendor put it in? So we want to encourage governments to use their buying power to say, unless you conform to those security requirements, Mr. Vendor, you don't get our business. And then the whole industry would move to a much higher level of security.
Would you like to share a comment on the Snowden episode?
Well,
is it a learning for the entire industry?
I think the Snowden has taught many people around the world many things. And the first thing is, where is the balance between national security and personal privacy? The reality is, citizens would think less of their governments if governments did not protect the well-being of the citizens. And it will use all kinds of means to do that, and we shouldn't be critical of that. But there has to be clarity in terms of where does a government start and stop from national security when it comes to technology, when it comes to infrastructure, and when it comes to personal data. I think it will take governments individually some time to work through what they believe the right response is as an individual government. And it will take even longer for governments to come together to work out what the international laws and standards should be. But I would just say this. Customers have to have faith in the technology products they're buying. They must have confidence that they are built to the highest security standards with very strong encryption, not weak encryption, no backdoors rather than backdoors in there. And we all must collectively work to deliver that. Because at Huawei we're passionate about the way technology has fundamentally changed people's lives. Better health, better education, better prosperity. And if people begin to stop using technology, it'll be worse for the whole of mankind.
Huawei is taking a lot of measures to ensure security. Do you feel the same thing is happening in the entire ecosystem?
It's been quite interesting as I've observed how the world has changed over the last 2 to 3 years, where Huawei was broadly a lone voice about openness and transparency, independent verification. I have to say many of the vendor community didn't want to do what Huawei was doing. But because of the recent revelations, everybody's now calling for more openness, more transparency, more independent testing of a technology from a vendor. We believe that's all very, very positive. What we mustn't allow happen is that the technology community drives the laws of the land. In every other walk of field, whether you look at your phone, the electrical equipment you're using, when you turn it over, you will find international conformity certificates and standards. We need exactly the same thing for technology equipment as